Hi everyone, so in this video we're going to be looking at the new update that has come to Digitakt 2. It is the slice mode or the slice machine. What the slice machine does is it allows you to create slices of the sample that you've imported into the actual Digitakt itself. So the idea of this video is to create a drum loop from the Syntakt. I'm going to record that into the Digitakt and then use a slice mode to manipulate it in the ways that we want to. So just a quick overview of this setup. So I've got audio coming out of the Syntakt from the left and the right, going into the input of the Digitakt left and right. We're hearing audio at the minute, but if you don't, just press function, and then if you go over to the mixer and then go down to the external mixer, you'll see that we've got a dial here that says input left and right. If this is in dual mode, this means that the left and right channels are done separately. So we want it in dual mode so that we have as left and right, we're controlling them at both of the same volume, plus it's stereo in. So if it's on 0, we don't hear anything, and then if it's at 127, we can control the input from the master volume of the Syntakt here. I'm just going to leave it there just so it's nice and a healthy sort of signal. I've also got MIDI output from the Syntakt into the MIDI input of the Digitakt. So if I take the MIDI out from a MIDI cable and just go straight into the input of the MIDI in, and then if I go to my MIDI config and then sync, what I want to say to the Syntakt is send the clock information and send the transport information. It doesn't really matter about the transport receive yet because I've not got anything coming into the actual Syntakt itself. So I've just put clock send and transport send. If I come out of that, go back into the Digitakt and then go to settings. If we go down to MIDI config, sync again, this now wants to receive that information. So instead of sending it, I want to receive it. So the information coming from this is going through the MIDI cable, it's coming into this device, and now we should be able to sync up the transport and also sync up the tempo. So if I just go into the tempo screen and just check that it's doing that, which it is. So we've got a tempo set up from each device, we've got everything set up. I have come up with these sounds. Very dry sounds, simple sounds, very simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play this. I've got a 2-bar loop, so you can see here I've got 2 pages full, 16 steps, so that's 32 steps. So what I want to do is just record the first page or the first bar of this drum loop into Digitakt 2. So I'm going to head over to the recorder page, and you can see on this we have these settings set up. So I want the source to be on the input, I want it to be a stereo input. Threshold, it doesn't matter because we're going to use this button here, and post mix is set, and I want to set this to 16 steps because I want this just to play through 16 steps, and once it plays it'll stop recording. This is where you can either use the threshold here to trigger the activate the recorder, but what I find by doing that with the threshold is the information below the threshold is lost until the threshold is actually broken. So until that is actually broken, you're losing that information. So if I have these two synced up and I press R start, once I press this, it will start to record. I need to arm it first, but you see you're getting that added information below the threshold. I mean, you could do it like that, but what I found with that is it'll just start recording because of the noise that is generated. That's not what we want. So I think around about 10. So around about 4, you're getting that. So the information below the threshold of 4, that is what you're losing out on. So it's just quicker, and because I've got it set up the way that I've got it set up, it's just easy to do it like that. So we're just going to do that. We're going to arm the track, and now we're going to record the track. So I'm just going to hit play. And you can see we've got our waveform from the Syntakt into the Digitakt. And then that is a perfect 1-bar loop. So I'm going to save this if I just click on yes, and then I'm going to randomize. Let's just have a look at what some names are. If I didn't want a name here, I could just delete that by pressing function and no, and then just type in what I want. Press yes to save, and what it's going to do now is it's going to ask me if I want to assign this to a page. I'm just going to press on track 11, and what that's going to do is it's going to send that waveform into track 11. So I'm just going to press function and no on that page to get the recorder back to what it is. So with track 11 selected, because it's got a red dot around it, I'm going to click on the source page. Now it is already in slice mode at the minute, but what you will have is it on one shot, the original, the default setting. And then that is what it is. So to change it into slice mode, we go to function and then machine. We can see now we've got a new engine, slice mode. So if we just click on yes, we are now in slice mode. First thing I want to do though before that is just copy this track onto another track. So I'm just going to press track. Because we've got track 11 selected, I'm going to copy track 11 preset, and then I'm going to select track 10, and then I'm going to paste that into number 10. So now I've got two exactly the same. You'll see that it's starting a bit later on in the waveform. That's because the slice mode starts at the C1 value. So if I go down to C1, you'll see that now we're starting on the kick. So every time your trigger plays, so if you are playing something in here, these triggers here will be C1 because that is the start of the actual waveform. So going back onto track 11, if we just click on the source page menu, we see that we have 8 parameters to choose from. We have the tone, which goes from -60 or -5 octaves to +60, which is +5 octaves. We can hold function and then turn the encoder to jump up and down an octave at a time, or push on the encoder to go up and down in semitones. The play mode, we have forward loop, we have reverse loop, and then we have reverse. I'm just going to leave it on forward. This is the sample selector, so this is where we can select samples. We can have slice, so we can select a slice that we want to play. And then the length of the slice. So if we head over to the next page on this, you will see the waveform. So if we just select a slice, in this highlighted area, that is the area that it has automatically detected a slice to be and to finish. So if we just go through this, that's what it's done. Length is how many, so you can see it's done in over 2 slices now, and then so forth. On note mode, if we go over to keyboard, we can, and if we are in keyboard mode, we need to be in chromatic mode for this. So just make sure you're in chromatic mode. On the keyboard mode, we start from C, but you'll notice that we need to be in C1, so we need to come down maybe a couple of octaves. So 4 octaves, it starts at C1 at the start of the actual waveform, and then going up through the note settings will trigger each slice individually. So we've got snare, kick, snare, hat. Just take that up a bit. That's better. So as you can see now, we've got all our samples. They are sliced up, nice and individual, and then we can go further into the slice mode itself. So to enter and edit the slices, all we have to do is click on yes, and then it brings up this menu. So in this menu, we can edit the slice points, we can create new slice points, or a new slice grid, we can create linear locks, or we can create random locks. So them two there was in a previous video, I'll link it up above, and these two here are new to the slice mode. So this allows us to either edit the slice points, so if by default you're happy with them and you just wanted to get in there and do a bit of tweaking, you can edit them, or alternatively you can create your own slice mode. So I'm going to create my own slice mode for now. You'll see this grid slice, this create grid slice menu come up. We can select how many slices we want along with a transient detection. So what a transient detection does is it goes from a 0 point, so 0 crossing point. It just eliminates the click and pop from that you get if you're playing a sample. So if you had a sample that started at a 0 point and you played the sample and then it suddenly ended whilst it wasn't at a 0 point, within the waveform you would get a pop, a click at the end. So you need to smooth this out. So this is what transient detection does, is it sees where the 0 points are on the waveform, allows you to play it, and then at the end of the waveform it will then go to a 0 point as well. So you're eliminating the clicks and the pops. So if I could just go back and count how many waveform slices I have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got 10 slices. So if I just go into this, I could then select this to be 10 slices, and then I would know that every slice would be something. I'm going to just do a bit more because I want some more slices within the slices themselves. I'm just going to select 16 slices. I'm also going to put the transient detection on so we get them 0 point crossings, and then I'm going to put yes to confirm. It's going to ask me if I want to erase it or to replace it. I'm just going to click yes, and then you can now see that we have a new menu coming up. So with this new menu, you can see numerous things on the screen. So we have 6 parameters to change, and then we also have this white bar at the top. So starting with this white bar at the top, you'll see slice 0, 1 through 16. So that is what slice you are in. That is what is selected. You can see as I go left and right, you will see that I have different slices that I'm going to select. And then you will also see to the right of that a number. So that number represents how long the slice is. And you'll see the S next to that, which denotes it's in seconds. So 0.17 is 170 milliseconds. Along with that, to the right of that, you will see that is the position of the sample. So from the start point, that is the position of this sample. So if I select on an area and then click on the actual key itself, because we're in a lower octave, let's go up a few. I can play this chromatically. Or if I come out of this, I can just use the trigger just to trigger it as it would. Go on to the next. Nothing there. So let's say we've gone through our waveform and we hear some of these, just blank spaces. We can delete slices by pressing function and back. That deletes a slice point. Or we can add a slice point by pressing function and right. And then what we can do from there is we can either alter the start point of the slice and then maybe the end point. We can zoom in to the actual end point or the start point depending on which we press last. So because I pressed the end first, it will zoom in on the end point. If I press the start, it will zoom in on the start point. We can go up and down the waveform by the position, and then I can get really into the nitty-gritty sort of part here. Very quick, very easy. But there is some other things that you can do to speed up your workflow even further. So if I just go onto this as an example, the start point, if I just zoom in on this start point, you will see that I am off on this sample. If I hold function, what that's going to do is it's going to snap to a 0 point crossing. So I could just get it somewhere right, and if I zoom all the way in, you can see that 0 point crossing is there. As you can see there, there, there. And what it's doing is it's just detecting that 0 point crossing so you don't have them clicks and pops. So if I started, well, if I ended the sample, let's say, if I just zoomed out, we can trim that up to be at the 0 point crossing. And you can see the number, instead of it going up smoothly, it's going up to where it sees a 0 point crossing. So as we've said, we can zoom in on the waveform, we can see the position of it. So if we have a long waveform, we can navigate around that. This up here is the position of the actual head itself. So if we just have a look through our waveform now, delete that one. Delete that one. Delete that one. And then delete that one. So we've got all our samples now. We can see we've got 12 slices. If we wanted to play them individually, we could go onto the keyboard mode, or we could use the new trigger mode. If we wanted to play that in a live environment, let's say, we could enter the new Trig mode. So this new Trig mode is slices. So this coincides with the machine itself. So as you can see here, these blue buttons are lit up. These are because we have 12 slices. And from this, we can play the slices that we have chosen. So forth. So if we wanted to play these in, if I just go over to the metronome and turn the metronome on along with a 1-bar roll, if I just mute them for now, see what samples I'm going to take. So 1, 5 and 6. And then we can enter into the sequencer by playing these in the way that we have. You can hear on the end of that kick, you can hear the click. Now you might like that, or you might want to edit that. So if you're not happy with it, you can go back into the slice edit mode, and you see these here. That's why it's clicking, because it's not at a 0 point. So if we just zoom in on the actual endpoint, and when we hold function and then use this to go back, what that's going to do is it's going to end the wave point or the sample point at the 0 mark. So we shouldn't get that click anymore. So that's sorted that issue out. So now if we play it back, we're not getting that click issue anymore. So with us still being in this mode itself, we could start to add effects onto our actual sample. Utilizing this into this allows us to create more of a tonal characteristics to our samples by using the sampler and using the tools that are on the Digitakt. So if I have this loop here and I wanted to add some effects, we can change the characteristics of the sounds that have come from the Syntakt. So if I just press play, and then what you're getting there is just added flavor to your actual sounds that you're bringing in. Another good way that you could utilize and get more textures out of the device is by using the slice mode with other engines. So in this example, I have headed over and I've gone to Repitch. Now I've just done this over 2 bars because what I've done with this sample that we've taken is I've stretched it out over 2 bars, so we're getting some more added flavors in there. So what we can do with that is we could re-record that back in. So if we go into track 10 and then we arm it, and then we want that over 32, now we'll just do 16 steps. And let's just press play. And then that's that. What we can do is then save this. And then we can assign that back to track 10. So what we've done now is we've stretched out the audio, put it back into track 10, and then now we can go back into our slice mode. We could then go into our slices. Because this was a previous one, we've got 12 slices that are set up. We don't want that anymore, so we're just going to press yes. And then going to go press slices. We know we've got 5 or 6, so I'm just going to put 6 and then put transient detection on. Click yes. That'll overwrite this, and then you can see where these slices start and finish. So I'm just going to click on this and quickly just going to press start, so it zooms to that start point. And then same with this one. And then from there, we have our loops, or our slices. So now we're starting to get different textures within the actual slices themselves. So if we go back onto this, that's what we had before. But if we go back onto track 10 now, that's what we have now. We've stretched the audio out. So I've just quickly entered what we have on track 11 onto track 10. So if we just listen to track 11, and then now we'll listen to track 10. So this is the resampled stretched version. And I can start to layer this up in a way that I would. So let's say I wanted to add a bit of chorus on there, maybe a bit of reverb. And then just bring this back to one page. And then we bring in the original. On number 10, I can slowly bring in the level to it sort of backs up what we've got on number 11. And then you can start to create all these different sort of textures and sounds that come from the machines that are within the machine. I've not even mentioned about the loop mode yet. So if I just press track, copy the track, go over to track 13 and paste it, we're on there now. What I could do is I could go into a different filter. Let's say, yeah, the comb filter. And then I could do this. Oops. But then if I go over to slice mode, I could maybe bring this So say I like that sound, I could bring this into maybe a loop sound. If I wanted to tighten that up, I just go into the edit slices and then zoom in on this section and then get this endpoint. So if I like that, what I could do then is select the slice. So I want slice 2 to be played throughout. I could then go into the keyboard mode and then I could play this chromatically. And then you can start to make different things out of it. So you can start to create different sort of tonal characteristics for whatever you do. If you sample it, resample it, use the different machines in combinations with themselves, re-record it, and just let the device take you on a journey. Slices is a great addition to this. I would like to see you borrowing voices from different tracks. That would be good to play polyphonic sort of stuff, so chords. So if I had a note on track 11, I could use this to play chords maybe. That would be a great addition to Digitakt II. It would open up so many more possibilities. If there's any questions you have on this, or if you could tell me anything more that has come to this update, then I'm all ears, because I just want to get the most out of this unit. I'm sharing these videos because I love doing these videos. If you do want to support the channel, there's absolutely no pressure in doing so. I enjoy doing these videos anyway. But if you do want to support it, you can head over to my Patreon page, where you can support and you subscribe to the channel. You get sample packs that I've made out of these devices and other things, my own electronic circuits and things like that. You can support the channel by doing that way. You can support the channel by just clicking on subscribe. Even a comment and discussing something, that helps the channel. That is Digitakt II slice mode, the new slice mode of the new machine that's come to Digitakt II. It'd be nice to know how you use this device or this machine in the comments, what you think about it. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one.